What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Questions podcast here on Fantasy Football Scout, the show where we hope to answer all of the hot topic questions in the land of FPL. And there are a lot going around at the moment, so hopefully lots of those will be covered during today's stream. Thank you all very much for joining, those of you who are in already. It has been I would say it's probably been the biggest roller coaster of a double. I know we've had things like the Dennis red card, but I look at this one and think, God, this has just gone all types of crazy this week. Andy, nice to have you back. How are we doing?
Great to see you, my friend. It's really nice to be back. I think we took a 1 week hiatus and once again, potting from a different location, different country, but good to see you, my friend. And yes, you're right. What a disappointing double game week it has been. One where we expected to make a lot of gains, but it hasn't worked out. But we continue to play. We're approaching sort of really the latter part of the season very soon. So I guess there's still some fun to be had, to say the least.
Yeah, lots of fun. I think it's summarized right. So going into this week, I had the choice of two combinations of players, Jota and Darwin versus De Bruyne and Adebayo, right? So just to summarize this, between the four of them, I've had 3 starts out of 8 in the double. All 4 of them are now potentially injured. They have played a total of 179 minutes out of a possible 720 minutes in the double for those 4 players. That just summarizes this week, right? You are not alone if you're looking at your team with wishing you had more points than maybe you do at the moment.
Yeah, we were chatting about 30 minutes prior to the start of the stream, and basically, guys, just both of us complaining about our players. And the one that hurts the most is not Jota, is not Darwin, because everybody got screwed there. It was Ake not starting, and that 6-pointer clean sheet, not even coming off the bench, Harry. And I know for sure Van Dijk is going to have a 12-pointer today, for sure. So
Walker owners, honestly,
don't even mention that name. Do
the
not even go
roller
there.
coaster that Walker owners have been on. He got benched twice, then started both in the double, and got a dodgy assist last game in the Brentford game at the Chelsea game at the weekend. Crazy for Walker owners. I'm quite glad because I didn't go to Ake. I actually rolled my transfer this week. So we've got scores up on so far. So I'm on 92. I should have 4 left to play, but I have Jota and I have Darwin, Jota has been ruled out, and Darwin, we believe, is not travelling and not going to play. So that leaves double Luton defence to go up against a Liverpool. Double Luton defence against a Liverpool team without Trent, without Salah potentially, without Darwin, without Jota. What could possibly go wrong? Set up nicely.
Yeah, I have had the privilege to pod with Pross as well as yourself, Harry, and I think you guys are sort of different managers, but both very, very good managers and both planners in my eyes. And the -8 for double Luton out of nowhere for you, I did not expect that. But so I was teasing Harry about it. So I want you to enlighten the viewers of why this is going to work out and how you're on a net positive of 1 point because he needs to defend his Luton picks. But I just found it to be hilarious that you went for that for a -8. But yeah, talk to me about why you're expecting the good to come out.
Well, to be fair, like the Doughty pick, I needed the money, so I downgraded Porro to Doughty to afford Jota and Darwin, which seemed like a sensible thing to do at the time. And I needed a defender about 4.8 or below. So I couldn't go to any of the City options. I could have gone to Gvardiol, but he was injured. So it basically only left Doughty because he had Sheffield United at home, double in 28, and might play in 29, but we'll talk about 29. So I still don't dislike that transfer because of what it allowed me to do with others. The Kaminsky in for Dubravka was a straight swap, and that was a hit. But they matched each other last week. Okay, I probably expected more from Kaminsky. Kaminsky's already on 4. Dubravka got 3. And he's got another game. So let's say he only scores 2 points tonight. That pays off 3 of the 4-point hit that I needed. And then he doubles in game week 28, right? So it's you wait. By game week 28, I'm fully expecting to be like 1 point up on the decision. and taking it as a massive victory with my transfers.
No comment. We'll leave it at there. There's always the option to bring them in 28 when the time comes, but
Yeah,
I respected you for that hustle back
yeah,
1 or 2 game weeks ago.
yeah. How are you feeling about your team? Have you got one transfer next week?
Yeah, so I think we're complaining, but at the same time, I've been making a rank rise, like slow and steady progress. I think the points are getting tighter for sure. But I still think that like maybe it's not getting tighter, maybe it's just so much more competitive
Mm.
this season that hey, you're on a green arrow by 4 or 6 points is like a 20K rise, So yeah, so I think I'm in a good position. I really want to get the top 10K this season. And I don't know how other managers feel about rank is just a number, and maybe we also say that here and there, Harry, but I've always just start the season with the goal of getting top 10K and who knows, even higher at some point in time, but
Yeah,
I feel like we're there. I think both you and I are very, very close to it. So I hope the Burning Question boys finish top 10K both this season. But
let's hope.
yeah, I feel good about my team. Mm.
Yeah, I'm about 18 points outside it now, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
definitely doable. You know,
Yeah,
a
but if you
50,
put it like that, like if you put it in like that perspective of how many points we are from top 10K, it feels like a lot,
really
like 20 points from top 10K feels like a lot, even though if you spread it over the next 10 game weeks, that's like 2 points each game week.
with
I
doubles and
understand that.
doubles and blanks, like that 2 points a game week, that's an appearance
Yeah.
points in a double.
No, I know I'm saying it's definitely doable. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the perspective messes with me when you put it that way.
yeah. But if you were 20 points behind a mini league rival, would definitely say you could turn over a 50-point deficit between now and the end of
That
the
is
season.
true.
Easy, easy. So
All right, fine. I'll take back what I just said.
right, so we are going to start by talking about chip strategies. So for anyone who's, or where's the graphic gone? Let me put it back up. There we go. We, are going to talk about chip strategies. For anyone who hasn't seen, there has been more chip strategy talk this week than I think I have seen, well, all season, definitely. But it just feels like it's absolutely blown up this week. So basically,
Harry, right before you go there,
yeah,
I just want to do a quick shout out because we have some really cool viewers from around the world. Matthew from Atlanta, good to see you, my friend. We have Nigel from the Philippines, other side of the world. Jorit from Canada. So it's really cool to see all these,
yeah,
global FPL players tuning in at this time. So appreciate it, guys.
it's
Thank you for joining
probably,
us today. Mm.
I don't know what time it is in Atlanta or Canada. Probably quite
I
early.
think
So
it's
thank
like
you.
8 a.m. Yeah.
Cool. So,
Nice.
yeah, effectively what's happened with chip strategy this week is most people were looking at strategy 2 on screen, which was the wild dead end into 29, wild card soon after, and then bench boost and free hit in 34 and 37. But what's happened effectively is strategy 1, the game week 29 free hit, has become much more spoken about and much more popular.
Credit to you.
No, not credit to me. But it's something that has been mentioned over the past few weeks. And then this week, particularly, it has started to gain momentum because of a couple of things that have happened, because people realize they want to start targeting some teams that don't particularly, or aren't guaranteed to play in game week 29 at the moment. So people don't want to have to wait to just make transfers for 29 and miss out on all the points between now and them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
go on.
So I think, look, okay, there's an infinite amount of chip strategies if you really think about it. But let's just break it down into three main ones, which would be a free hit 29
Yep,
and a later wild card. It
yep,
could be non-free hit 29 and a wild card between, let's say, 30 to 32, 33.
yep,
And like last year, if there are some upsets before game week 27,
yep.
then potentially we will see some wildcards flying in
27.
Game Week 27, 28.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
those would be the 3 wildcard windows we're talking about. 27, 28, 30 to 32, or if you free hit in 29, it would be like a 35 wildcard.
Yes.
Am I correct here?
Correct.
Okay. So I think we should begin with the free hit 29 because you have talked me into this. And again, I credit where credit is due because I really respect you, Harry, as a FPL planner. And I mean that. And you make some very, very good points about this. And I will supplement my thoughts with this. So why don't you take it away? I think a good chart to show would be that fixture ticker where we eliminated 29 and 34, unless you have something else, and then we can go from there.
No, so yeah, cool. So this would be talking now about the Game Week 29 free hit. And the reason it's become popular is because people are realizing, as I said, there are teams you want to buy into now that don't play in 29 and people don't want to wait until 30, 31 until their wildcard to start buying into them. The other thing that is building into this strategy and this narrative that Game Week 29 free hit and a later wildcard is possible is the predictions of what's going to happen in the FA Cup. The predictions of what's going to happen in the FA Cup of the top teams continuing to go through means the Game Week 34 double is likely to be uninspiring, to say the least. The 4 teams predicted at the moment using FPL.team and Planet FPL's projections, which are very useful, are Arsenal, which majority of us will already own 2 of anyway.
Yep.
Everton, Crystal Palace, and Sheffield United. So if it falls like that, now FA Cup upsets in both this week and then the round in Game Week 29 could change what that looks like. But if all the top teams continue to go through, they cannot double in Game Week 34. And the reason for that is that round of the FA Cup is in Game Week 34 at the weekend. So they can't double in Game Week 34. So if the top teams are not going to double in Game Week 34, are we really free hitting to add maybe 1 Arsenal, a couple of Everton and a couple of Palace? Like, is that really worth playing the free hit for over the additional benefit that you get if you just play it in Game Week 29 and just forget about the blank? And I don't have to worry about, are Bowen and Kudus going to find form again? Are Aston Villa defensively going to be okay without Kamara and Konza? Do I really want to be buying Douglas Luiz? Like, these sort of things are what I'm having to decide on if I'm not going to play my free hit in Game Week 29. Now, I feel like I'm speaking at it in a point where I'm trying to convince, but we will do the pros and cons of the other ones because there are pros and cons of the other strategies as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense for free hit 29?
Yes, but okay, yeah. Let us also go ahead.
Sokan says, you can't plan for Liverpool City being drawn against each other. This is true, right? Let's say Liverpool get drawn against City or Chelsea. Suddenly, those teams may end up doubling in 34 because one of them will get knocked out before Game Week 34. So
yeah,
this is the issue with it, is that suddenly 34 might look a little bit different if lots of the top teams get, drawn against each other. But we will know that.
Okay.
We will know that before Game Week 27, who they're drawn against to play against in Game Week 29. So we will know that in a week's time or a week and 2 days' time, we will know that for sure. Who's playing who.
Okay. One question to you is that for those that want to free hit in 29, you're hoping that, let's say there are not too many upsets before Game Week 27. You're hoping that in Game Week 29, the draw falls better to the stronger team, so the stronger teams don't get eliminated for 34, correct?
Correct. But even let's say a scenario.
Even then,
let's say a scenario that there were upsets this week, and I've planned to free hit 29, and let's say there's lots of upsets this week. I might actually end up as a free hit 29er being in a better position, because what that will mean is I've used my transfers this week to buy players I actually want, like Wolves. And then suddenly I'm, given a gift in game week 29 that Arsenal Chelsea is on, and I suddenly have 4 extra players in that game. And suddenly I've gone from free hitting 29 and buying players this week that I actually want to not free hitting 29 because I've suddenly got extra players. It's done the thing again. Why does it do this? Oh, right, keep talking.
It's fine. It's fine. Keep talking.
Let me unplug it and plug it back in. So I'll suddenly go from, being in a position where I actually could save my free hit in 29 if there's lots of upsets. And I've still bought players that I want this week.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So let's sprinkle a little more why free hit 29 is appealing pros to this conversation. I hope you're still there.
I'm back on the on the screen. There we go.
So I think you make a very good fun foundation argument about how maybe potentially we don't have to worry so much about free hitters in 34 on at least right now, right? So that's like the first argument you're making here. If you look at this fixture ticker, we're taking out 26 and we're taking out 29 and it's all the way up to 33, so before 34. And you look here, you got, by the way, Bournemouth might get a game in 29, so that's a game changer too, right? You've got 27 Bournemouth having Burnley, Sheffield, a double game week in 28. And then their fixtures are great from 30 to 31, 32, 33. So anyways, if you bring in Solanke plus maybe one more Bournemouth player in 28 for the double, you could also just not worry about them, right? 30 plus. You have Chelsea right below where, okay, solid fixture versus Brentford, great fixture versus Newcastle in 28. So you just keep Palmer, right? And then 30, 31, 32, Chelsea great, right? Yeah. Newcastle, let's skip that part. Tottenham, another interesting one. If we bring in Son, game week 27, they've got Luton, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, 30 to 33. Boom.
But
great.
The only thing on Spurs, right, is they're guaranteed to play in 29, but they blanked this week. So Spurs are Spurs are different because Spurs are one that if you're not free hitting,
you could still get.
You'll pile in on probably more than.
Okay.
Those.
That is true. Why is it missing Oh, okay. Because I just took out 29. Sorry, I got confused there.
Yeah.
Good point. Arsenal blanking for now, but regardless, I think both non-free hitters and free hitters will be having plenty of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Liverpool's a tough one, right? Because I still don't think we will bring them in for 27, 28, because they're blanking this game week, but still we need them by 30 and Salah becomes tough to bring in without a wild card or, plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just a few points here about you ideally do not want to wild card, as you've mentioned to me in the past, Harry, wild card around a free hit, right? Because you're free hitting in order to not wild card around the free hit. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of makes sense, right? That the players we bring in now will also be beneficial after the free hit in 29 for 30 to 33.
Yeah. Okay. So I suppose the next question is so the difference is, and if you're free hitting in 29 or not, it changes the pool of players that you're likely to buy this week, right? We'll talk about midfielders a lot during this pod in a moment. But for example, if you're looking for a Diego Jota replacement, it will likely change who you buy if you're going to free hit in game week 29 or you're not going to free hit in game week 29. Because
go ahead.
If you're going to free hit, you have a bigger pool of players. Like I could buy an Odegaard, I could buy a Hwang Chan, but if I'm not going to free hit, I'm probably buying Douglas Luiz this week. So it does change. And people will say, oh, just wait until the FA Cup to make your decisions. And I'm like, I can wait to confirm it, but I need to have a idea of what I'm doing this week because there's no point me buying Douglas Luiz if my idea is to free hit 29. So you can decide next week, but you need an idea this week.
By the way, right? Like, just because you decide to go for a non-Douglas Luiz and go for like a Hwang or a Neto this week, it's just one difference, one player difference between having one player in 29 or not.
Yep.
Well, that's the way I try to wire my brain to think about it. Granted, that one player difference could be an additional -4 or one less
Yeah.
player you have in 29, but it's not the end of the world, right? Like, it's not life or death of whether you free it in 29, whether you go to Hwang or Douglas Luiz. We're just trying to be optimal, right? So I just want to put that out there. And someone's asking FPL Boo Boo, please tell us which game week will have all the double Gameweek 34 informations. This would be after Gameweek 29, Harry?
We imagine it will be, so after Gameweek 29 is an international break.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine by Gameweek 30, we'll know what Gameweek 34 will look like. Because, Gameweek 30 is when we expect to know what Gameweek 34 looks like. And to be honest, Gameweek 30, we should know basically the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It might not be officially announced, but the Gameweek 34 stuff should be announced. So we'll have a pretty good guess of the rest of the season. So Gameweek 27 for Gameweek 29, and then Gameweek 30 for the rest of the season.
Yeah. There's another good question. Does FCH Sean, does free hitting in a double game week equate to more upside? And go ahead.
Yes and no. I feel like this is another good week of a free hit and a double is bigger risk, bigger reward, right? Free hitting in a blank, the risk of it going wrong is minimal because you're adding fixtures, right? You're going from 7 players playing to 11 players playing. That can't really go wrong. It just might not be as good as free hitting in a double. But free hitting in a double is risk reward because you might get a week like this where we should have all kept Watkins, kept Solanke, kept Saka, kept Arsenal defence, all with a single game week this week, and not free hitted. Because if you'd have free hitted this week, you're probably worse off than if you hadn't played the chip.
Exactly. So like, I think let's take Game Week 37 for example. We're going on a tangent here, but Game Week 37 is expected to be the big double game week for the big teams. And let's say, for example, we're gonna have 3 Arsenal and 3 Man City players. You know, good luck finding the right ones, right? Just because you have a free hit doesn't mean you're gonna hit bullseye, right? I think your chances will be higher.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, players that most people own from the template or the wild card might actually do better than the ones you pick in free hit anyway. So I do agree. I think the floor is higher for free hitting in a blank, but maybe the ceiling is higher for free hitting in a double.
Definitely. But as I've said before, and I know it's being said a lot, the benefit to free hitting in a blank, the benefit to free hitting in a double is in that double. And you hope to beat the non-free hit teams by 30, 40 points. But the benefit to free hitting in a blank is not just the blank. It's the weeks around the blank, which is why free hit 29, it'll be difficult to measure how successful it is because it'll be my transfer this week. It'll be my transfers in 27, 28, in 30, 31 that are different because I've played my free hit that week. So it's more measurable in a double.
I mean, let me challenge you here. Let's actually measure that in terms of, let's say the difference this game week. This is for free hit 29. The difference this game week would be you confidently bringing in a Wolves player versus Sheffield versus a Douglas Luiz. Next game week, it wouldn't be so different because I think most people will bring in Son, right?
But I might bring in
Salah. 28. Okay, there you go. Maybe Salah.
So it's because it adds up. So like this week, it will be Hwang versus Douglas Luiz. Next week, it will be Hwang and Salah versus Douglas Luiz and Son.
Oh, okay. Compounding.
In 28, it will be Hwang, Salah, and Senesi in defense because he has a double versus Douglas Luiz, Son, and Pedro Porro, for example. Like, it just gets more and more the further you go down.
Oh, very, very good point. Okay.
So,
nice.
So. The reason this is important, and it's what we want to cover at the start, is we are going to talk mainly about midfielders today, and you have to consider it when you're making a decision. As Andy said, you don't have to say, well, I'm free hitting in 29, so I will buy, or I'm not free hitting in 29, so I have to buy someone who plays that week. You don't have to, but it has to be part of your thinking. You have to at least consider the fixture in game week 29.
Okay. Okay.
Well put. We've got up on screen now is just on the left is just a list of the most bought mids so far this week, which is crazy that Mo Salah is number 1 and he doesn't have a fixture this week. Mo Salah has 200,000 transfers in and blanks this week.
What did you think about that game? How annoying was that, man?
I mean, it's
there
one of
was
those things,
so many goals for Jota and Darwin. Unbelievable luck. And shout out to my guy Late Riser, who triple captained Darwin. Man, he would have walked away with smiling this week. Granted, Holland had massive XG, but still, just ridiculous luck for us Darwin and Jota owners. But yeah, what'd you think about that game?
Man, if they'd have played 90 and had Luton to come, people would look at this double so differently. We're so unlucky.
So unlucky.
We got 89 minutes combined from Jota and Darwin out of a possible 360 against Brentford and Luton. It's crazy.
Yeah. And shout out to Van Dijk owners. I don't have him, so I'm smiling, but he was on a 12-pointer or 9-pointer or whatever, right? Gets to a 2-pointer and then hits the post in the dying minutes off a bullet header.
I'm so happy you missed.
I was so happy you missed.
Honestly,
such an evil FPL thing, but
I wasn't even watching the
game.
And I just saw an update afterwards being like, I can't believe Van Dijk hit the bar in the last minute. And I was like, oh, you're kidding.
It's crazy what FPL does to you because you're so aware of your competition that for me, it was like, I need Van Dijk to do bad for Van Dijk owners to suffer and Liverpool defense owners to suffer.
Honestly, imagine what it was like for me. I triple captained Haaland against my own team.
Yeah.
Going into the game, I was like, a 3-3 with Haaland scoring a hat trick would be all right. And then as soon as we won 1-0 up, I was like, nah, I want Chelsea to win here and I want us to win badly. I completely forgot about my FPL team as soon as that game kicked off. But it was the worst case scenario. We dropped points.
I have a question. For his 280% EO, like Haaland, are we overreacting here? Or is it that little bit of comparing against those that might not have gone for him?
It's more like a self-correct decision in my mind thing. My rank hardly changed when he scored last night. Honestly, it was crazy. I checked my rank after the game and thought, I'm sure I was at that rank before the game started, and I owned Haaland and Foden. It doesn't massively impact rank, and when other people play their triple captain on probably Solanke, it probably won't impact our ranks. It won't knock us down. Because I don't think Solanke will pass 200 in the next double. He might just be at 200 or just above. It's more like a pride thing to know that you've played your triple captain and he scored points than actually being. It might impact mini leagues, like if your rival didn't triple captain him, but from a rank point of view, it doesn't massively matter. It was so high.
Yeah, agree.
So going back to mids, on the right we've got sort of the top spoken about mids this week, ranked by XGI per 90. And so we're just going to go through and discuss some of these. The first one is the top of the list remains Cole Palmer. Majority of us still own him, but some people did sell him. And just looking at those Chelsea fixtures, if you're free hitting in game week 29, getting Cole Palmer back should be a priority. I saw a stat the other day that since he got into the Chelsea starting team, he's the highest scorer in FPL.
Yeah. Here's my issue with this, right? It's like, when do you bring him in? And
Yeah, not this week.
This
He
week,
blanks.
right? This week he blanks. Next week he has Brentford, but we also have some book transfers, right? I.e., Son or Salah.
Yeah.
28 Bournemouth. So it's not easy. There's no timing to bring him in until potentially game week 30. So I don't think if you don't have him, I think it's a bet worth taking against him, if you know what I mean.
But if you
Like
own
there's
him,
more gains to be had elsewhere for now, I
yeah,
feel.
true. But if you own him, it's a
Yeah.
big thing not to sell him this week. Don't have
Correct.
Palmer as your make way to get a full 11 out this week. Keep Palmer. I'd rather play with 10 than sell Palmer this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Like what's great about being a Palmer owner is that there is still a confidence that in any game he can get a 10-pointer. Like in any game. And he's proven that. He's on penalties. You know, he's still the talisman for a dysfunctional Chelsea, I'm sorry to say. Still good asset, I feel. Why you?
You wait for us to win the cup final at the weekend.
Yeah, $1 billion spent to win a cup final. Congratulations.
Hey, Spurs would love to pay that much to win a trophy.
Fine. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Right. The next up, should we do Aston Villa on here? So Leon Bailey versus Douglas Luiz is a really interesting debate. It's kind of like, what type of FPL manager are you? Bailey does feel very nailed now. He started, I think, 10 of the last 12, and he's only missed a couple because he had a knock. And his data is really good. When he gets game time, his data is really, really strong. But Douglas Luiz gives you penalties. He gives you corners. He gives you free kicks. And what's quite interesting, I think it's worth highlighting, is that Douglas Luiz didn't play deeper because Kamara was injured. There was so much last week, I'm worried about Douglas Luiz now because Kamara's injured and Douglas Luiz will play that role. It was actually John McGinn who played that role at the weekend. So I still like Douglas Luiz. And although Douglas Luiz is massively lower on this table, it's 0.57 versus 0.44. The difference is actually less than the table makes it look.
You think? Yeah. So I think FPL Villain on Twitter, shout out to FPL Villain, is a pretty good indicator of like Villa assets in FPL, right? And I came across one of his like replies on Twitter where he was really shouting out Bailey over Douglas Luiz. So if that's anything to go by, I thought it was interesting. What's his minute situation? Is he like guaranteed starter and playing at least 60, 70 plus? Or is it a little iffy?
He has been. However, I do want to add something to this.
Okay.
Is they have Europe starting again.
Okay.
And it's the knockouts starting again. I think it's after game week 27. Mm-hmm. So between game week 27 and 28, and then between game week 28 and 29, Aston Villa play midweek in Europe.
Yeah.
We saw it earlier on in the season with Luca Dean and Alex Moreno. We saw it with Bailey and Diaby again. It just feels like a massive concern to me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel great about his minutes. That's the first thing I'll say about Bailey. Let's go to Douglas Luiz. Like, let me ask you something, Harry. Is he a good FPL pick?
Yeah.
Like, do you honestly believe he's in a good FPL pick?
Is he an exciting FPL pick? No. Do I want to watch Aston Villa play with him in my team? No. Am I happy to check the score at the end of the game with Douglas Luiz in my team? Yes.
Huh.
He
set pieces, minutes.
Yeah, minutes. He played.
Aston
So
the
other day when they played Sheffield United or whoever they won 6-0, he played 45 minutes of that game, got 1 assist in a 6-0 win, and still got a bonus point.
Okay, so you think he's like sort of we're sleeping on him?
I don't necessarily think we're sleeping on him, but just with Europe, I would just pick Douglas Luiz. If I buy one this week, there's no chance I buy Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
But I get the exciting. If you want to watch it, you want to watch Bailey. You don't want to watch Douglas Luiz. exciting like Doughty. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Uh, I love it, guys. Let's keep bugging Harry rest of the season about his -8 Luton picks because
You wait.
absolutely ridiculous,
You're going to
man.
get bored of me
Anyways,
talking about them when that Liverpool front three of Diaz, Gakpo, and Harvey Elliott failed to score tonight.
but all right, back to the point. I I'm gonna fence it here. I feel very indifferent about both picks. I like that having a pick from Aston Villa because Aston Villa can go crazy and go 5 goals in one game. But both just don't fill me with great excitement. That's the way I'd like to put it. But
the fixtures are good.
If you're thinking about not free hitting in 29, and Aston Villa is probably the answer to go for. So if I had to pick between the two, I would still go for the safer pick in Douglas Luiz personally.
Colm is saying, so Pau Torres and Douglas Luiz over Moreno and Bailey. I mean, it's boring, but I spoke about it in my YouTube video this morning.
Nice plug.
Yeah, plug. That I would buy Pau Torres over Moreno. I think Moreno will start this weekend. But I have no idea what happens in game week 29 after the European fixture.
Yeah. Between the two, I think Pau is the answer, right?
But just like you watch the Villa games, and if Dean or Moreno are starting, they're so much better.
Yeah.
I think that's closer than the midfielder. The midfielder, I would just buy Luiz. They paid a lot of money for for Diaby.
If anybody ever goes for Dean just because you just threw that name out there, I would like to apologize on behalf of Burning Questions.
Yeah, don't do that. Cool. Next up, Wolves. So, Of course, Aston Villa are the team that you'd want to buy. Before we go to Wolves, do you have any interest if you needed a fixture in game week 29 to buy West Ham?
They're just so bad, man. They're just sorry, West Ham fans, but they just don't fill me with any confidence, you know.
Yeah,
Paqueta I guess is Bowen ticking along? Like,
no.
is he? I haven't been keeping tabs. Is he ticking along?
They've been awful. They've scored like 3 goals this whole calendar year, but Paqueta is now meant to be back. So, I would buy Villa before I buy Bowen or Kudus though.
Yeah.
I
27.
Sorry, I put these tables together and I noticed how bad Kudus' data is. His data is awful. Like, he is half most of the players on this list.
I wonder what his data was like when he was sort of on a tear and that right before AFCON.
Yeah, awful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So overperforming.
Massive overperformer.
Okay. Well, that adds more fuel to the fire of not going for West Ham.
Yeah.
They have good fixtures though. Let's present the pros, right? 27 Everton. I guess that's an okay fixture.
Fixtures are
28
good.
Burnley, good fixture. Newcastle 30, good fixture. Tottenham, good attacking fixture. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. Cool.
But it's not the same Bowen that instills the confidence that he used to. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It feels like too much of a gamble.
Yeah.
Cool. Wolves? Let me put your Wolves graphic up.
Let's do it. How exciting. The entire FPL community is talking about the second best player in the Premier League. Yes, Chan. How exciting.
So how are you feeling about these two?
So I think we've had at least 2 or 3 episodes this season, Harry, where have been trying to sell Hwang,
yeah,
because of my patriotism, right? And early in the season, one of the things I mentioned was how Neto is maybe the better footballer, but he's the guy that's going to create havoc on the sides, hug the touchline,
Yeah.
hug the sideline, and it is Hwang and sort of Cunha, but especially Hwang getting the the goals, right? So
Yeah, man.
let me go on a tangent here. I'll try to keep it short. So his nickname is the Korean Bull, right? Not the tallest. It's not allowed. You got to give me some. You got to give me a moment here,
Go for
right?
it.
Like,
I'm ready for
how
this.
often am I going to be able to hype up a player that there's no doubt I'm
You
going to
did it
buy
for
him, right?
Son for
There's
about the first 16 episodes of this pod. Like, you do have the opportunity for it.
all right. I'm just gonna go for it. So a brief background, right? 2018 comes out of nowhere, plays well in the Asian Cup.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had like sort of borderline cockiness, but which is a rare trait in Asian players, but it's good to see, right? 2019-20, he gets his first European like big, let's say medium-sized club in Salzburg, where I think people don't realize he played alongside Holland and Minamino that season. Like that's the season they went pretty far in the Champions League. And he ended with 16 goals, 22 assists in 40 appearances. So it's not like this guy is just like, didn't get his move to Wolves based off non-merit. Like there was merit to his move, right? So he gets into the Wolves first season under Lage. And you remember that season, it was Jimenez and Traore up top, and Traore like ridiculous XG but couldn't finish. Like Hwang started that season with 3 goals and 4 appearances and had a pretty decent debut season, but he was like getting injured here and there, right? Last season, people forget that he was injured the entire season. Like couldn't find a rhythm pretty much. Almost there. Let's fast forward to this season. Guys, listen to this. 10 goals, 8th in the Premier League in 19 games. Only 3 players in the history of Wolves have scored 10 plus goals in the Premier League. Who is that? Stephen Fletcher, who I don't know who he is, in 2010-2011 season. 18-19, 19-20, Raul Jimenez. And Hwang is the 3rd player in Wolves history to score 10 plus goals in 19 games. So let's think about Raul Jimenez a couple of seasons ago in FPL terms, like that DCL Raul Jimenez level. Like he was a serious FPL contender in our teams, right? Like he's sort of matching. Okay, maybe not the longevity, but he's having a season like that, right? So I think we need to think about Hwang being a very, very solid player in the Premier League. And why is he so good this season? I think Gary O'Neill is super, super freaking underrated. And it's like a match made in heaven. Like sometimes you need that. Like you need a coach that believes in you and like creates like a good system for you to flourish in. And I feel like that's what's happening. And even with Sarabia, Neto, Cunha, and Hwang, which is 4 players, Hwang is not losing his spot, even if, let's say, all 4 of them were injured, which is a good sign of things, right? And what I mean by, what's his name? Neto hugging the sideline is that Cunha will overload with him on one side and isolate Hwang, which is why he's getting 10 goals in 19 games. So Cunha's not out, yeah. And this past game was a little bit different, but what I will say is this, even against Tottenham, he will at least get one big chance a game. At least. I guarantee you that. Right. And the big chance is actually a very good chance where he could have got a goal against Tottenham as well. And let's look at the team itself versus Tottenham. Let's look at the most recent game. 71% possession for Tottenham. Total shots 15-12. So Tottenham had more shots. But shots on target, Wolves had 7, Tottenham had 4. Even though they had less shots overall. So the chances are good. And remember that rolling chart we did 2 weeks ago? Like Wolves have stepped up in terms of offense as well. So guys, Hwang is the answer. Of course, dude. Like Neto has 2 goals and 11 assists. Hwang has 10 goals. What are we talking about here? Like, and I guarantee Neto's gonna outscore Hwang in the next 3 game weeks, but you get the pen taker. You get the guy who's scoring goals. You get the guy. I don't know about Penn. Honestly, I don't know. But yeah,
Sorry, I'm muted. I don't know why I was on mute. Yeah, the pen taker. That's the only thing that
sorry, 1 second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the only thing why I was muted. Is the pen taker. It could be Sarabia. Sarabia has, I think, 17 out of 17. They've
Yeah.
never had a penalty where they've both been on the pitch.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so shout out so far. Zoff makes a very good point about their counter-attacking side, but this is where what I mean by Gary O'Neill being flexible is that they're a counter-attacking side against the strong teams. Like, again, there's a very good example of earlier in I think October or something. It was against Man City, where they played really, really well counter-attacking. Tottenham's the same thing, 71% possession. But there are also games like right before the Asian Cup, Hwang had his best game against Brentford, and go watch those highlights. That was a balls out, like attack vs attack type of situation. So you should not think about Sheffield United being, oh, this is not a Man City type team, so Wolves might struggle to break that. No, because you have Neto creating havoc, and you have guys like Aitnori overloading. They're just really, really attacking, right? Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I think the combination of Wolves being a good team, Hwang getting on the goals, and dude, Sheffield United, there could be 3, 4, 5 goals for Wolves. Like, if we're not going for this fixture right now, what are we doing here?
So are you buying him this week?
I'm
You better be buying him after all of this.
Apologies, guys. Apologies.
I really like him, and I would buy Hwang over Neto. Yeah, I just would. Yeah. Even if it's a 50% chance of penalties, he was still a good asset before he was taking penalties. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I got so hyped, but I'm very excited to own Hwang.
Good.
Good. Is how I'll put it. Yeah.
Nice. Right, back to the list of mids. Where are we? I've lost my train of thought. There are a couple of others on here. A couple of others to probably mention. The first one is Gross, who's been really good recently, and with João Pedro out, continues to remain being on penalties. The Brighton fixtures also remain good for the next few weeks. Everton, Fulham, Forest. But then from like 30 onwards, it is pretty tough. So it is a short-term buy, which is why I'd probably go one of the others over him. And we talk about cup upsets. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, we got City against Luton and Brighton against Wolves. One of them's going to win. So
yeah,
I wouldn't do that, I don't think. We laughed at Newcastle, but Anthony Gordon continues to score points. It's just that he has Arsenal away this week. I'm so happy I've still got Gordon. I really like him. He continues to be such a good asset for me.
So they've got Wolves in 27, Chelsea in 28, and then very, very solid fixtures from 30 to 33.
Yeah.
What's their stats like right now? Obviously, their defense is not good, but
the attack's okay. They're
it's okay.
Creating chances, yeah.
Okay.
It's just the Arsenal away fixture this week. Means it's a difficult. It's not a buy point, is it?
Oh yeah, and it's Mikkel makes a good point. Gordon is now full 100% on pens.
Well, only while Isaac and Wilson are out.
But they're out for a while, no?
No, Isaac's back.
Oh, he's back already. Okay.
Yeah. So Isaac's meant to be back this weekend. I mean, he might get injured again, but we know Gordon's next. We know Gordon's next.
Yeah.
You're right. Apparently, he took the ball and was like, "No one else is taking this. I am having it." But But yeah.
Yeah, I think I really struggled to sell it when I did sell him. So I think it's a very good pick. But I don't think I would go out of my way to buy him right now. There's some better picks out there.
Yeah, the only thing is Gordon's yellows. I think he's on 7.
Yeah.
Let me check. I've got one more name, but is there anyone else you'd like to talk? He's on
Let's
8.
see.
He's on 8. Wow.
So we did Bowen, Lewis, Bailey, Wolves, Garnacho maybe.
Yeah. Garnacho's a really nice pick.
Yeah.
And
I really like Garnacho.
They look good at the moment.
Yeah. He's the pick. He's the pick out of them all at United right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even over the likes of Rashford and Bruno, you know?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of us can't fit Højlund in up front. And if you want a piece of their attack at the moment, and it allows you,
yeah, but
you can get Salah
I don't
back
think
if you go Garnacho easily because he's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. Højlund just doesn't even come into the fold for me because there's just three obvious forwards that you shouldn't go elsewhere. I mean, maybe Tony would be the fourth option.
Yeah. Douglas Luiz Freddie is on 6 yellow, so that's fine. The actual final name, who I'm really tempted by, is I think the most expensive player on this list is Martin Odegaard.
Oh, I like it.
Arsenal.
I like it a lot.
Arsenal are just flying.
I like
at the
it
moment.
a lot. Yeah.
Let me
say this to you, right? Go ahead. Sorry.
I just need to watch the highlights because I've seen Arsenal fans saying that there's a tactical switch over the past few games, which has made Odegaard more involved going forward. And I just want to watch to make sure that I think that's going to keep going. But if it keeps going, I think it's better than the others. Newcastle at home, Sheffield United away, Brentford at home, Chelsea at home. It's City in 30, then Luton, Brighton, Villa, Wolves. The fixtures are really nice.
Also, Havertz had a good game, by the way. So I'm not saying he's a good FPL option. Just saying that the fact that Havertz is having a good game means, Arsenal playing well. And if I was to wildcard now or in Gameweek 27, I think I would opt for. I mean, I haven't done the exercise, so I don't know who I'm losing because it's not. It could be a combination of 2 transfers or 2 players, but if all those external factors aside, if I was wildcarding in 27, I think I would lean more towards having 2 Arsenal attack and 1 Arsenal defense.
Yeah.
We're at that point in the season where it's coming together for Arsenal. Granted, you cannot go wrong with this double up Arsenal defense combo right now, but that's why I like Odegaard as a pick as well.
Yeah.
And if I was free hitting this game week, no doubt about it, I have Odegaard plus Saka in my team.
Interesting. So we did free hit drafts together before we came on this stream, and our teams were pretty different. You had triple Arsenal, and I only had 1. Maybe it's because I've got double Newcastle in my team, and I'm trying to avoid them being rubbish defensively. But yeah, I really wonder about Odegaard. And Chelsea Leeds is one of the upsets that could happen in the FA Cup.
You don't think Arsenal attack will destroy Newcastle this week?
I think they probably will. But I'm sat here.
They're going to destroy them.
Yeah. Watch Arsenal tonight in the Champions League. Yeah, that's true. It's true. But yeah, their fixtures are nice. They're flying at the moment. He's got 14 and 10 points in the last 2. He just mops up bonus. He loves it. Yeah. I'm really, really, really tempted to go there.
Martinelli over Odegaard? No, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
It's just those I mean, it hasn't been early subs because Trossard's been starting, but yeah, no.
Okay, nice.
Especially with Europe, like Champions League. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There probably will be a cup upset. It's just where it is.
I hope so too.
Forest United is another one.
Yeah.
Forest
Yeah.
could easily win that game.
Yeah. Also, my fellow Hwang transfers, there's still a chance we get that Wolves fixture in 29. So even if you bring in a Wolves player,
Yep.
our chip strategy is flexible. Let's
Yeah.
At least let's hope for that.
Yeah. Cool. So what? Again, just to sort of highlight that Arsenal are actually predicted to score the most goals this weekend at home to Newcastle. This is a fantastic graphic from Rob T FPL, one of my newfound favorite accounts on Twitter, and it basically gives you clean sheet odds, predicted goals for all the teams in the league this weekend. And Arsenal have the most, more than City, and more than Wolves as well. So
Yeah. I think the 2.15 for Wolves, I think the 2 should be a 3. It's a little bit of an error there, right?
well,
It's a
yeah,
terrible joke, Harry.
I don't get it.
I was just saying, never mind. Let's move on.
I don't get it.
I was
Right.
saying the 2.1, the 2 is a joke. Okay, never mind.
It's too low.
It's too low. It's too low.
Yeah. I agree. It's too low. It should be
Yeah.
a 5. Yeah, no, I do get it. Cool. So teams for next week. You have one transfer, I believe.
I have one transfer. Should we do the free hit?
Oh yeah, let's do the free hit. So this was the free hit I put together. I went triple Wolves. I went triple United. So Sarr in goal, Dallo, Moreno, Nori, De Bruyne, Saka. I went Fernandes over Garnacho just because on a free hit I had the money. Hwang in midfield, Haaland, Watkins, Højlund front 3. The only thing I'd change is maybe more Arsenal. But I just would you want Odegaard or would you want Fernandes?
Yeah.
And then now De Bruyne. You might not go there, but that's going to be a City mid, right? That'll be a Foden, a Doku, or a De Bruyne, depending on what happens at the weekend.
I mean, I like it. I can't remember what my version was.
You just had you had Gabriel and you had Martinelli, I think.
Okay.
And then you had Tony as well. I would definitely own Højlund.
Yeah. I think mine was a little bit more Arsenal focused, and I had Ederson in goal, which is wild. And then I had Tony. So it's like it's not a great free hit,
Do you not think?
Like, I don't think we're losing.
I think it looks
too much.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. But I guess it's opportunity cost, right? Like you might gain here, but lose tremendously in 29. So
yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's a good week to free hit, but I think the team looks good for this week. But it would do because you're on a free hit, right?
Yeah, that's right. I had Foden instead of KDB.
Yeah. Cool.
But anyways, good exercise to do, to compare your team to what a optimal free hit team might be like. Any blank or double game week, I think it's a very good exercise to do.
Yeah. Cool. Bus teams?
Yep, let's do it.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Let me pull up my team. So I have Areola in goal, Saliba, Gabriel, Ake, Taylor, Foden, Jota, Saka, Darwin, Haaland, Solanke. So
one transfer.
Basically, one free transfer. I think I have like 3 point something in the bank, 3.5-ish in the bank. So enough money. Darwin to Watkins is an obvious play. When I do it, I'm a little bit hesitant to pull it too early, just in case, right? Some random injuries happen. But regardless, I think I'll be focused on the price changes, and if I see a rise or fall, I'll probably make the move early, right? So Darwin to Watkins locked, and then it's what to do with Jota. And if you're tuning in now, then go back 20 minutes ago, and you'll know exactly who I'll be bringing in for Diego Jota. So that is the move for a -4, and we'll see you in the top 10K.
I love it. A bus team is just a term that we use that you set up your team early in the week, ready for the next week in case you get hit by a bus. There you go.
Is that a joke?
No, it's actually why it's called bus team.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's sort of just like, not like actually if you get hit by a bus, but like in case you miss the deadline or like, but it was called bus team.
Oh, it's like a,
because
okay.
the people who named it, I think it was the, I can't remember who named it now. But they were like, it's, yeah, in case you get hit by a bus.
It's a term that came about from FPL?
Yes.
Or is it like a common
it's an
phrase?
FPL term. It's an FPL
It's
term.
an FPL term. Okay.
It was Always Cheating podcast. I think who came up with it.
They came up with it?
I think
Shout out
so.
Always Cheating Boys. Wow.
I think so. Anyway,
Interesting.
so I rolled this week.
Oh, you're joking with me, huh?
No.
You're being serious?
Yeah, I rolled this week. So I got
No, the bus team thing.
Oh, the bus team. No, I'm not joking with you.
Oh, I didn't know. Seriously, guys, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't know
Yeah,
what.
Always Cheating. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's from.
I see. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so I rolled my transfer this week. So I got 2 transfers. And I think I'll probably end up taking a -4 anyway. Because I don't want to play Charlie Taylor. And I'm gonna have to sell Trent anyway at some point. I'm gonna have to sell Jota at some point. And Darwin's gonna go to Slanky. So all 3 of them are gonna go. So I may as well do it this week and not have to play Charlie Taylor. That's where I'm currently thinking. Darwin to Slanky. I feel like everyone is doing Darwin to Slanky or Darwin to Watkins, depending on who you sold. One of those. Jota and Trent. I haven't decided.
Jota to who? Come on, man.
I think I'll buy an Arsenal player in one of those 2 spots. I think it'll be Odegaard.
Okay.
Man.
No.
I think it'll be Odegaard. But that gives me 5 players in that game, which I don't like.
Yeah. No Hwang?
I really like it, but I just look at Arsenal and think.
So you are going the Saka Odegaard double up. I mean, I think that's fantastic too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I look at it and think it's hard to ignore it.
Okay, so if you go Odegaard, who would be the
defender?
Trent.
I don't know yet. It could be Pau Torres. It might be Aït-Nouri.
Aït-Nouri, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe I go Aït-Nouri and Odegaard. I still have a bit of Wolves.
Yeah.
But he's not done that much. I do worry a little bit about the data's fine, the positioning is really good, but the output hasn't been there.
Yeah.
So Odegaard or Hwang.
Do you think Taylor is very iffy for minutes, or
no?
What's the deal with him?
I think he'll probably start. I've asked a couple of Burnley fans. They think he should start. Like, they've not been good, but Burnley suck. Like, they're so bad defensively. Crystal Palace at home under a new manager. Like, I don't see anything for Taylor in that game. Like, I see a 1 or a 2 pointer. So I'd rather just take a hit not to play him and do a transfer I'll probably do down the line anyway.
Yeah. Let's talk about captaincy. But before we talk about captaincy, guys, thank you so much for joining today. Please do hit the like button and subscribe to the FFScout channel. And a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Really good to see everybody. I do want to shout out FPL Mo, Trophy FPL, who was a guest a couple of weeks ago, and very beloved guest. So shout out to you, Mo. But thank you so much for joining. Before we end with a Q&A, I think we talk about captaincy. So where are you at with captaincy, my friend?
I mean, it'll be on Haaland. I do like Watkins this week.
Yeah. I do like Watkins too.
And if Hwang came in, he's a decent differential, but I'm just not going to not captain Haaland.
Yeah. I as much as I hyped him up I don't think I put captaincy on Hwang.
Yeah.
So I think Holland is the one.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know if anyone in the chat is thinking of doing something different. Maybe the points over the past couple are, indicators that we should think about something else. But
Yeah.
it's not this week.
Okay, nice.
It's not this week. It's in game week 20, whenever they play away at Liverpool. That's the week that we'll think about doing something different. Game week 28. The double, anyway, so we won't be captaining him. He'll be on Solanke anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like next week's going to be fun, man. Like, if it's going to be Salah versus Son, I feel.
What, next week?
Yeah, our transfers next week.
Oh, transfers, yeah. Yeah. It's worth looking at.
Saka is playing Newcastle. That is tempting too.
Yeah, Saka, yeah. I still just have in my mind that Newcastle are not completely terrible, but they are.
Yeah.
Captaincy will be interesting next week. Haaland has United. Salah will go away to Forest. Son will have Crystal Palace at home. And Saka has Sheffield United away.
Man, I really miss having Salah in my team.
Yeah, me too.
That was painful to watch.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Any time for questions?
Sure.
I feel like we've done most of them.
I mean, I have time, but...
The only one that got asked that probably to talk about is Estupinan.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Neither of us
I
own
saw
him.
That too.
If you owned him...
I think you have to sell.
Would you sell before this week? It's got Everton at home.
Does anybody know if he's guaranteed to start?
Well, he's not guaranteed, no.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sell.
Yeah. But if it's for a hit...
I mean, when else are you going to sell him? Just take the hit now, and hopefully you have more time to make up for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they do play Everton, Fulham, Nottingham. Oh, damn.
Yeah, the fixtures are good though. But then they've got Europe as well.
Yeah, that's got to be rough, man. Because he was a genuine option when he came back from injury.
He was so good,
right? And then he had that goal, like Hall, right? I am back, right? That's what he said. And then
I'd
I'm
keep
back.
him.
Yeah.
I'd play him this week. I wouldn't sell him for a hit. If you have a spare free transfer, then maybe, but I wouldn't sell him for a hit.
Yeah.
They just won 5-0. Why would he start? I mean, they did win 5-0 against a Sheffield United team who got a red card for probably the worst tackle I've seen in years. It was awful. Have you seen it?
I mean, like, let's say it's for, like, you're replacing him for an second Arsenal defender, for example.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's the move, right?
Yeah. Yes, true.
Like for a season keeper, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a tough one.
Yeah.
If he starts, you think he's a definite hold, but if he's benched, then you think obviously he wasn't nailed. It's so tough.
Yeah.
I'd probably keep him. I'd sell him for free, but not for a hit. I think it's probably where I'm at. But
not agree. I think I would.
You sell him for a hit.
I think I would go lean towards selling him.
Yeah. It's just the fixture looks
okay.
Good. Anyway.
I think all the other questions we answered.
Yeah. Cool.
Maybe Marcus makes a very good point. Purvis gets one more week for me. Maybe that's the play.
It's just the blank. Like, even if he doesn't start, like, he still should come on, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone joining today.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Good luck in the final game. Let's hope for a 3-0 Luton win tonight. That's what we're all after for our FPL teams. And Doughty to get a handful of assists as well while we're there. Perfect.
Yeah,
and
appreciate it.
And good luck in the blank next week. And we'll see you all again next week. Thanks, everyone.